Welcome to Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota for this afternoon's NFL battle between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Lieber along with Johnny Morris. First place at stake today in the NFC Central Division. Interesting matchup between two interesting ball clubs, and I guess you can start at quarterback, really.
Yes, Bob Avellini of the Bears did a fantastic job last week, especially because it was the first game that he called himself since he was in high school. Jack Pardee, the Bear coach, decided that he needed more leadership on the field. Rather than sending in the plays, he was going to give Bob Avellini a chance to do it. He did a great job. He completed 11 of 17 passes for 3 touchdown passes. They upset the Rams 24-23. Big night for the Bears last Monday. They're trying to continue for today.
Okay, Francis Tarkenton, age 37. Every time he throws a pass, it's a new NFL record.
He is something else, a great field general, and he knows, Fran Tarkenton knows, that the Bears are 14th on pass defense and 14th on total defense in the NFC. So you can bet that he's going to come out and throw that ball today.
And, of course, you got two of the better running backs in the National Football League, maybe two of the best, as a matter of fact, plying their trade this afternoon. We're ready for the opening kickoff here at Metropolitan Stadium. And the Vikings almost break it. Manfred Moore, number 36. Receiving Bob Thomas kickoff. Here's the Vikings backfield as they line up. Brent McClanahan does the same thing for Minnesota as Roland Harper does for the Bears. The Viking receivers, all of them veterans. Sammy White, second-year man. He's the youngster in that group. And the offensive line, Wes Hamilton starting in place of Ed White, the veteran who was a holdout till the first week of the regular season. First and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings at the 30-yard line. As we get underway. Chuck Foreman in motion. The give is to McClanahan, who tries the left side. McClanahan out of Arizona State picks up a couple to the 32-yard line. It'll be second down 8. Here's the Bears defensive line. Jerry Myers, who has beaten out Mike Hartenstein for that job in the last couple of weeks. The Bear linebackers, who have remained intact all throughout training camp, and a couple of changes in that secondary with Doug Plank back from the injury. He's now in there, and Gary Fencing has beaten out Craig Clemens in the last couple of weeks. Second down 8, Vikings at their 32-yard line. Foreman crosses the 35 and out to the 38. It'll be third down 3. Here's a fine runner.
Yes, Foreman does the job up the middle. Jim Osborne almost slowed him up, but Foreman with the strong legs went on to get a few yards. He hasn't had the big average so far this year. He's only gained an average of 3 yards per carry, as opposed to Walter Payton, who's gained 6 yards per carry. But Foreman does a lot on catching the passes. He's a good man all over the field.
Officiating crew headed by Bob Frederick today. Third down and a long 2 needed for the first down. And they give to Foreman, and Foreman drives just across the 40-yard line. And looks like he has enough for the first down of the ball game. Osborne making the stop for the Bears. It looks close enough that we may need a measurement. And Frederick is going to call him the change.
Frank, I'm sure that the Vikings would like to get their offense untracked a little bit. They've only scored 52 points in 4 games, which it really isn't a lot, but they've won their games. They've had good, strong defense, and Tarkenton has started to open up. In fact, he's thrown his last 65 passes. He has not had an interception after having 5 in the first game. So they've been a little slow to get untracked on offense, and they're hoping to break loose today against the Bears, who are 14th on pass defense. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's got to be close. They've had 5 points separating the two teams the last 3 times they've played.
Last year, of course, each team won once, and each decision was by 1 point. Sammy White in motion, the pitch to Foreman. 45 to the 46, lost the football, but I believe it had been whistled dead as Doug Buffone, number 55, made the hit for the Bears.
And there you see the value of Chuck Foreman, the quick move that he took to move up the field as they had a man in motion. Now watch 44, Foreman cut inside the block and take the yardage. He saw the hole, went up, and got the gain out of it, and of course he fumbled, but it was after the whistle. The Vikings have had 13 fumbles in 4 games. That's a lot of fumbles.
They do play that great defense, though. They're third in the league in the least number of points yielded. So Minnesota's defense kind of keeps them in the ballgame. The offense seems to do just enough to win. Second down 5. McClanahan bouncing off one tackler at the line of scrimmage, got back to the line and maybe a yard, but certainly no more than that. Doug Buffone jamming the hole that time.
Yes, but it was Jim Osborne who got in there to jam up the play. He was in there like Wally Chambers is when he's healthy. Osborne charged across the line of scrimmage, busted up the whole mechanics of the play, and then the rest of the Bears got in there to mop up. The Bears, as I said, are last on total defense, but they've come up with some big plays. They had 4 interceptions last week, despite giving up 415 yards, and they could have had 6 or 7 interceptions.
Third down 5, Minnesota at its own 45. Early moments of the ball game, no score. Tarkinen. First pass of the afternoon. He drops it off to Foreman. Foreman is at the 50. He's got the first down into the 45. And that, of course, is one of the favorite ploys of Francis Tarkinen. He probably drops it off to the backs as much as anybody in the game.
He certainly does. He never leaves them in to pass block. He sends them out, and Foreman, of course, catches a lot of passes every year. And you get him the ball, it's like an end run here. Now watch, they have him, and he'll dip inside of Wayman Bryant, number 50, and get the extra yards that he needs for the first down. It's just like getting that Foreman out on the end on an end run. He's in the same position.
Officials mark it at the Bear 46, second first down for the Vikings in this drive. Tarkinen, like what he did the last time, goes to the air again, and this time he's got Sammy White for a first down at the 20-yard line. Sammy White cutting inside the 2 defensive backs, number 48, Allen Ellis, and number 46, Doug Plank.
And boy, Ahmad Rashad on the other side was wide open too. Boy, they may come back to him, but you can see Stu Voigt turning in, and then you see Sammy White coming across. He brings him into the inside, and no chance for the coverage. Good play by the Vikings. A nice drive down to the 20-yard line already.
27-yard pickup. Tarkinen 2 for 2 in the passing department. This Viking drive started with the opening kickoff. They haven't given up the ball yet. They have 3 first downs. And now to the Bear 20-yard line. Foreman to the 18. It'll be second down 8 as he's jammed up by the middle of the Bears defensive line. Francis Tarkinen, no stranger to the Bears. This is his 26th NFL start against Chicago, going back to 1961, and of course that very first game.
I know, I played in that one. I remember. Yes, new expansion team in '61. They beat us, I think, 37-13. A great victory for the Vikings. Norm Van Brocklin was the coach at that time.
Second down 8. Flanks at the Bear 18-yard line. Tarkinen rolls left, looks right over the middle. Foreman, the intended receiver, took his eyes off it momentarily. Buffon on pass coverage. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings and the National Football League is prohibited. Third down 8. Vikings from the Bear 18.
There's been a lot of talk about the condition of the field. As you know, Frank, last week it was really muddy and kind of a quagmire, kind of ruined the game in a way. But they fixed it up a little bit. It's dried out. There's a lot of green paint. Looks a lot better than it really is, but at least it's playable and not too slippery.
Bears digging in here, trying to hold the Vikings. Big play, third down 8. Rush on Tarkinen, he gets it away. And the pass is incomplete, intended in the far corner for Ahmad Rashad. Spivey was back there defending, number 47, who was in the game for the Bears. That sets a fourth down and brings on Freddie Cox,
who has played in, I believe, 200 consecutive games. They gave him a game ball last week. 200 games, that's a lot of games.
This will be a 36-yard field goal attempt. Krause to hold. Only 7 players in the history of the league have played in more than 200 straight games, and 3 of them were on the Vikings. Far enough. No good. Missed it left.
So there's a big play. The Vikings drove all the way downfield and wound up with zip. So it's still nothing ball game. Key drive.
So the Bears take over, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Introducing the Ford in your future. The new Ford Fairmont Wagon. A new wagon designed for today and the years ahead. The Fairmont wagon has excellent mileage ratings, but while it is trim and lean outside, Fairmont has almost 90% of the passenger space of most large wagons, and with the seat down can swallow up all this cargo. Yet for all this, the new Fairmont wagon as shown is actually sticker price less than this little VW Rabbit. Test drive Fairmont, the newest better idea from the Wagon Master.
I want you to be the first to know. I joined the Army, so I guess it means goodbye. Chris? I joined the Army, so I guess this means goodbye. Susie, I joined the Army, so I guess it's goodbye. I joined the Army, so I guess it's goodbye. I'm leaving for the Army next week.
When did you join? last July.
With the Army's delayed entry program, if you qualify, you can enlist now and take up to 12 months to say goodbye. Contact your local Army representative.
Vikings moved the ball 52 yards in 10 plays before Cox missed that field goal. Bears have it on offense for the first time at their 20-yard line. Avellini. Straight handoff over the right side to Roland Harper. And Harper carries it out to near the 25-yard line. Let's set the Bears offensively for you. None of them strangers, certainly to Chicago fans. Bo Rather, James Scott, and Greg Latta, the Chicago receivers, and the Bears offensive line. Ted Albrecht, their #1 draft choice, who's moved into the starting lineup as of a couple of weeks ago. Second down, 5. Here's Payton. Put his nose down and picked up a couple of tough yards to the 27-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 3 as Fred McNeil made the stop for Minnesota.
Walter Payton is already 6th on the all-time Bear rushing list, and he's only in his 3rd year. He's got 462 yards so far this season, leading the entire NFL. He is something else. Of course, he had a big game last year here against the Vikings, but the Vikings won in 2019. Then the Bears won 14-13 down in Chicago.
Bears with a 3rd down 3 at their 27-yard line. Avellini. Protection is good, and he's got the first down as he hits Latta at the 33-yard line. And Latta is corralled by Bobby Bryant, number 20. Here's the Vikings defense. Long in tooth, but very effective nevertheless. Jim Marshall is now 39 years old, if you can believe that. Got a good set of linebackers. Not much age there, certainly, and a good set of veteran defensive backs. Paul Krause is 35, and he's on the verge of setting an NFL interception record that's been held by Emlyn Tunnell for these many years. 1st and 10. Bears first down of the ball game at their 33. Fumble. Loose football. Who's got it? Minnesota recovers at the 30-yard line as Avellini never came out of it cleanly. Jeff Seaman, number 50, recovers the fumble. Now, that's one thing you don't want to do against these teams, because if the Vikings are one thing, they are opportunistic.
They always have been and always will be. Any team coached by Bed Grant will be that way, and I don't think Avellini ever really got the handle on it. As you look at the Bear backfield, and then he tried to hand up. Walter Payton reached down, and it's got away, and of course Seaman aggressively recovered.
Tarkenton trying to take advantage of the mistake. Fires over the middle. McClanahan, 25 down to the 23. Pickup of 8 on the play. It'll be 2nd down 2. Gary Fensick, number 45, moving up from the secondary to make the stop.
And Tarkenton didn't waste any time in going to the air right after the recovery. Just a fake out to the flat and threw it right over the middle of the field. McClanahan was there with the grab. And the Vikings are in great shape on the 22-yard line. 2nd down and 3.
2nd down. Let's call it 3 needed for the first down. Ball is at the 23-yard line. Chicago still no score. McClanahan to the neighborhood of the 20 before he is shoved back. Fensick again in on the stop, along with number 76, Ron Rydalch. Chambers is expected to play, by the way, is he not, Johnny?
Yes, he is, but he probably won't play that much. He played more than people expected Monday night against the Rams, but his knee is not well. It's not 100%, and they'll play him some for inspirational value, and he also causes a lot of commotion among the offensive line. But I wouldn't imagine we'll see him more than a half a game at the most.
3rd down and a yard needed for the first down. Vikings at the Bear 21. Foreman almost broke it for the touchdown as he got down to the 12-yard line. First down, Minnesota. Allen Ellis made the stop and saved the TD.
And that's why Chuck Foreman is great here. He hits the hole and continues to power on. As watch Ellis, 44, comes up, and he figures he's stopped. And then really didn't go through on his tackle, and Foreman got through and almost broke for the touchdown.
They get 2 great backs working against each other. I imagine there's a little something special for them.
Yes, he's been hearing all about Walter Payton all week, and I'm sure he'd like to have a better game than Walter.
1st and 10, Vikings at the Bear 12. Foreman to the 5, to the 3, to the 2-yard line. Close for a first down. That's see if it's enough for the first down. Very close. Wayman Bryant made the stop.
And it's a simple case of the Vikings are just out muscling Chicago in the middle of that line. They're opening big holes, and Foreman is hitting them perfectly. His timing is he went up and over that time, and finally Wayman Bryant gets in on the tackle on a host of Bears, Fensick, and Rydalch. But the Vikings are just moving the Bears on defense right now. Good blocking.
They'll measure here to see if the Vikings picked up the first down. This drive started at the 30 after the fumble recovery by Jeff Seaman. We're still in the first period with just under 6 minutes to go. It is a Minnesota first down. First and goal to go from the 2-yard line.
This is what Minnesota did last week and in several other games. Scored early in the first quarter. Oh, thank you very much. Last week they got 2 quick touchdowns on Detroit and made it stand up. Now they're moving 2 quick drives, the fumble and another drive, and they're in good shape to go ahead here.
Might be Mark Keller, a running back, in there with Foreman, but they give to Foreman. Nevertheless, and Foreman has 6 points. Made it look easy.
Okay, I mentioned the good blocking, but this was mostly good running because there were a couple of men on the tackles there. You could see Fensick trying to make the tackle, gets double teamed, and Foreman just dips out and goes into the end zone. That's what you call easy pickings on that one.
30-yard drive, and it took him just 5 plays. And as I recall, Foreman was in on every one of those plays. Cross to hold. Cox with the extra point. A flag is down. The kick is good. There was a penalty marker down. So let's wait and see. If it's against the Bears, obviously the Vikings will decline since they made the extra point. It's Bob Frederick, the referee, and he'll give us the call.
Number 57 on the defense was offside, and the point is good.
Offside against Don Reeves of the Bears, but the point was good. So obviously Minnesota declines the penalty, and they have a 7-0 lead, 5:27 left to play in the opening period.
Charlie. Hey! Remember the old grip? Do I ever? When do you say Budweiser? Right now. Right, ladies?
Right.
Whether you're coming home to your alma mater or just coming home after a day at work, any time that's right for a cold beer is perfect for the consistently smooth taste of the king of beers.
Well, Martha, thank goodness some things never change.
Here's to you, pal.
When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Another big weekend of the CBS Sports Spectacular. We've got 3 great fights for you, 2 of them involving the Spinks brothers. Leon, the heavyweight, takes on Scott Ledoux, and then Michael Spinks goes against Gary Summerhays. That's a light heavyweight fight. And the third fight, Bernardo Macedo takes on Greg Johnson. That's another heavyweight matchup. And in addition to that, you got part 4 of the world's strongest men competition. What are they going to do next week?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to carry 750 pounds in a wheelbarrow up a 9-degree angle hill in 30 yards, and they time them. Can you imagine just getting there? All right, here's Cox. Art Best is deep for the Bears. The kick a little bit short. Best at the 10, 15, 20. Fumbles the ball. Minnesota recovers. Joe Blahak, number 21, picked up the fumble. And the Vikings again have excellent field position at the Bear 20. Okay, Art Best, who's just been back on the kickoffs a couple of weeks here, carrying that ball rather loosely, and then he goes right into his 4 horsemen right there. Didn't look like a very good place to run to me, and then the ball was knocked away, and Blahak made the fumble recovery. The Vikings are in good shape on the 20.5-yard line. It looked like he ran into his own man there. He did. He ran right in. He's supposed to follow his block, and you really followed him. Vikings leading 7-0. Foreman stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Wrestled down.
The Bears' Jim Osborne, number 68. Interesting thing on Foreman's statistics, he has not run that well this year. In fact, his average coming into this game is below 3 yards per carry. And his longest game from scrimmage was that 10-yarder you saw just a moment ago. But they say part of the reason is he's been playing on bad fields.
Yes, they have played on some bad fields, and also part of the reason is they use him as a pass receiver quite a bit, out on the flat and running, and he is so valuable that way that if you watch that average, it'll be up to 4 or 5 before too long.
2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line of Chicago. McClanahan inside the 15 to the 12-yard line. Riding Wally Chambers that time, number 60.
Jim Osborne got through here, but runs right by the ball carrier as Wes Hamilton took him out of the play, and then, of course, just the drive right up the center. They are really blocking. There's some muscle going on down there.
3rd down 8. Or correction, 3rd down 2 after the pickup of 8 at the 12-yard line. McClanahan up the middle. Penalty markers are thrown. Looks like he's got enough for the 1st down at the 10-yard line, but let's see what the flag's all about.
It's going to go against the Vikings, I think.
McClanahan has had a few moments. He's out of Arizona State. Had one 100-yard game last year, but mostly, of course, he operates in the shadow of Chuck Foreman. Here's the call from Bob Frederick, the referee.
Offensive holding, number 61, 3rd down.
Wes Hamilton, the 2nd-year guard from Tulsa. Flag down on the holding violation. Move it back to the 22-yard line. It's now 3rd and 12.
You know, Tarkington will go to the air undoubtedly this time. He has passed for over 24 miles in his career. 24 miles.
That's amazing. Translate that to yards. It is 42,000 yards.
299.
Now they give it to Foreman, who finds a gigantic hole and takes it right back to the 12-yard line, where they were before the penalty.
Well, that was a nice call. The Bears obviously thought that they were going to pass the ball. Went with the draw. Didn't quite get the 1st down. They'll probably take the 3 points and hope for the 10-0 lead, which is a good lead.
4th down, they still need a couple for the 1st down with the ball at the 13-yard line. And Fred Cox, who missed earlier from 36 yards away, comes on. Cox starting the season trailed Lou Groza by only 33 points. Groza, number 2 in the all-time list. That's a 30-yard try, and it's good. So the Vikings mount their lead to 10-0 on the 30-yard field goal as they capitalize on the Chicago Bears' 2nd fumble of the opening period.
Ever wonder what happens to the money you keep in your checking and savings accounts? Let me show you. Some of it's here in town, put to work helping people change things for the better, like buying a new car or starting a new business. Your money's working, yet all the while, it's there when you need it, in a safe, convenient place.
America's Bankers, helping you change things for the better.
Save on one coat cover in half the time at Ward's. You're watching Ward's new Super Painter Patomatic in action. Sale priced at only $7.99. Super Painter covers almost any surface smoothly, evenly, and quickly. It's perfect for Ward's gallery of colors interior flat or semi-gloss paint. Super sale priced, $4 off every gallon. Enjoy one coat cover, quick drying, and a scrubbable finish that really lasts. So save time and money at Montgomery Ward.
Having dinner with clients is part of your job.
The trick is to gain a client, not lose a reputation. On Our Own tonight, following Rhoda.
Stay here, Mr. Barton.
Two mighty forces war over who shall rule the star world of the 24th century. That's tomorrow night on Logan's Run. You'll see it 8 o'clock, 7 Central and Mountain Time on CBS. Freddie Cox ready to kick off with 3:18 left to play in the opening period here at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. Art Best is deep. This one coming down short. Ryan Baschnagel fielded it at the 20. Stopped at the 23-yard line. Nate Allen makes the stop for Minnesota. And the Bears put it in play at the 24-yard line. Not much of a drive there by Minnesota, but when the other guys fumble, they give you that great field position. You don't have to go too far.
This is very similar to last year's game up here when the Vikings completely controlled the first half and the Bears almost came back to win it in the second half. But the Bears are going to have to get on track. 2 fumbles in the first quarter cost them 10 points.
Vikings led at halftime of last year's game up here, 17-0. Peyton. Look at him drive. Picks up 5 to the 30-yard line. Tough man to bring down. Leading rusher in the National Football League coming in this week, 6-yard average.
And he's already had 3 100-yard games, and you can bet he's going to break a couple before this game is over. He's done it every game so far this year. The Vikings with good pursuit. Finally, Carl Eller, he got around Eller, but Eller still got in on the play. Then so did Sutherland and a host of Vikings. They're so good at gang tackling.
Second down, let's call it 4 for the first down. Chicago Bears at their 30-yard line as Bob Avellini looks over the Viking defense. Quick pitch, Peyton. He'll be close for the first down. Interference led over there on the far side by Dennis Lick, number 70. It was Jeff Seaman, number 50, the middle linebacker, who strung it out, pushed him out of bounds somewhere around the 35. Got some other scores for you we can pass along.
Yes, Frank, Houston has a surprising lead over Cleveland, 10-0. That game is in the first quarter. The Giants lead San Francisco 17-3 in the second quarter. And it's Buffalo 3, Atlanta 0. That game is also in the second quarter. And John Brockington went over 5,000 yards. He was picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs and hit the 5,000-yard mark for the Chiefs in this afternoon's game against Baltimore. Baltimore's winning that game 14-6.
Our score, Minnesota 10, Chicago 0. As the Vikings capitalize on 2 Bear fumbles, we've got 2 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in the opening period. And as you saw, the Bears did pick up the first down at their 34-yard line. Scott wide to the left side. Or rather in the slot. Inside of him is Avellini. Goes to Peyton over the right side, and Peyton gallops out to the 40-yard line. 6 on that play. It'll be second down 4. That's the Bears' second first down. And the Vikings 6.
You can see the replay. You see Roland Harper in front of Walter. He's the lead blocker, and they just hit the line. And watch Walter's legs keep moving here. He keeps them moving and always seems to go forward 2 or 3 yards after he's hit. And then many times he'll come out of that. But the key is just like Pistons. He keeps the legs moving all the time.
Second down 4, a short 4 for the Bears with the nose of the ball just beyond the 40-yard line in Chicago's end of the field. Harper stopped short of the first down at the 43. Matt Blair, number 59. Roland Harper had his best game ever last October against the Vikings at 93 yards and a touchdown.
They say that football players grow old and fade away. What happened to the Vikings? They don't grow old and fade away, do they?
Oh, they've got guys on there, 39, 37, 35.
11 men with over 10 years service, where the Bears have just 1 man with over 10 years service.
Third down. Bears need 2 for the first down. Ball is at the Chicago 42. Straight ahead power. It is Harper trying to pick up the first. And again, it's going to be close. Let's see where they spot it.
He got it. He absorbed a pretty good shot from Seaman and Studwell were both in there. And he absorbed the shot, reacted off of it, and fell forward to get the first down by about 1 inch and 3 millimeters.
How do you know that? That's about what it was, as a matter of fact. He got just the corner of the ball. So the Bears get their second straight first down in this drive. Clock moving along with less than a minute to play. In the opening period, the Bears have a first down at their 44. Quick hitter that time. Harper again getting the call, crossing the 45 to the 46. Pickup of 2. It'll be second down and 8 as Alan Page, number 88, makes the stop.
Alan Page has lost about 15 pounds, and they're putting right on the center of on the nose of the center, which they haven't done too much in the past few years, that odd defense. And usually they have about a 270-pounder over the head of the center. But with the Vikings, it's Page, who's 228 or 230, and he's just been so quick that he's been able to do the job.
Their offense has done some kind of job allowing the opposition to sack Avellini just twice this year. As we see that, he gets pinned for only the third time. It was Fred McNeil, blitzing linebacker, number 54. Now, why would I throw that statistic in just at that point?
I'll tell you.
Well, that sets up a third down and long situation. Bears are back at their 36-yard line. Timeout. We'll be back in a moment.
Honey, is this homeowner's insurance high?
I don't know. Think it's too much?
How would I know?
Compare with Allstate.
Compare?
Bring in your policy and compare rates. If you have a good deal, we'll tell you. But for many, chances are we've got a better deal.
We've got a better deal.
Allstate might save you some money, but you'll never know until you bring in your policy and compare.
Oh, that's a good deal.
When you want to save on homeowners insurance, Allstate wants to help.
That's a promise from us. For good hands, people.
With the price of most things going up, the sticker price of Pinto, the best-selling American small car, is coming down. As of October 3rd, new 78 model Pintos with more standard features will have a lower sticker price than last year's model comparably equipped. Important features are now standard, like AM radio, power front disc brakes, rear window defroster, tinted glass, and protective body side moldings. Ford Pinto, more car for the money than last year. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
There's the opposing head coaches. And by the way, during that sack of Avellini, time did run out at the end of the first period, so the teams have changed ends of the field. And we're about to get underway the second quarter. Bud Grant? I was talking to Gene Stallings, one of the Dallas assistants the other day, who, of course, played on the same college team with Jack Pardee. Told me some amazing stories about how Jack played six-man football in high school. He was twice as big as anybody else. Scored about 9 touchdowns every other game. Third down, 18. Avellini back to throw it, and he's going long. Intended for Latta and almost got it there at the 30-yard line. Paul Krause, number 22, the veteran safety of the Vikings, was back there with him. Fourth down, and so the sack proves to be a big factor here, as the Bears will be forced to punt.
And Bob Parsons would like to forget last year's game up here. The first half he had 2 or 3, I can't recall, punts that went off the side of his foot.
Parsons averaging just over 40 yards on the year. Manfred Moore fields it at the 28 and is hit in his tracks. Talk about a guy who fell into it. Manfred Moore last year played the first 13 games of Tampa Bay. And at that point, they traded him to Oakland. And he wound up with a Super Bowl ring and check. Can you imagine that? Time out of the field. Back in a moment.
It's no joke when a meeting runs late and you've got to catch a plane. And if Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car, hadn't invented express check-in, you just might be waiting in line at some rent-a-car counter while your plane is taking off. It takes a superstar to come up with time-saving ideas like express check-in. Next trip, you might need it too. So rent a Ford or other fine car from Hertz.
The superstar in rent-a-car.
That's right.
The closer you shave, boy.
The closer you shave, boys.
The more you will need.
The more you will need.
Great balls of comfort.
Great balls of comfort.
To do it with ease.
Great balls of comfort.
Oh, just let Noxema.
Noxema.
Cream ya.
Great balls of comfort to you.
The closer you shave, the more you need soothing, medicated Noxema.
Great balls of comfort to you. Woo!
Should have bought Mobile One. The oil, it saves you gas, you know.
Should have bought Mobile One. Helps you start at 35 below.
Should have bought Mobile One. Engine temperature hits 500. You're cool.
Should have bought Mobile One. You only change it every 15,000 miles.
Mobile One, the oil that does it all. Take it from an expert.
Frank Lieber along with Johnny Morris, Metropolitan Stadium. Bloomington, Minnesota Vikings, 1st and 10. Following the Bear punt from their 28, and Francis Tarkinen loads them up, going for Sammy White. Nice pass defense by the Chicago Bears. Alan Ellis, number 48, who is back there defending against the star second-year wide receiver. Tarkinen, in his 17th year, age 37, has thrown 313 touchdown passes in his NFL career, and for better than 42,000 yards. And of course, in addition to that, he holds another record. He's rushed more than any other quarterback in the history of the NFL. He has rushed for almost 3,700 yards. 2nd and 10. Again, Tarkinen comes out throwing, going long, and again it's for Sammy White. This time well overthrown. Ellis back there with him. Sammy's getting his work out.
Yes, he's getting his legs in shape. Actually, if the pass had been more towards the sideline, not so deep, he had some room over there. There was nobody else deep. Tarkenton says that the combination of Rashad and White are the two best receivers he's ever had together on the team at the same time. So that's saying something, because they've had some great receivers.
I think we had a marker down. Preliminary indication was illegal motion against Minnesota.
Number 85 on the offense. Refused. 3rd down.
White was in motion. The Bears decline it since the pass was incomplete, which sets the Vikings up with a 3rd and 10 at their 28-yard line. Foreman's best afternoon of the year so far. Tarkinen, excellent protection. Penalty marker down. Again, he goes long. And again, the intended receiver was Sammy White. And again, the Bears play excellent pass defense. Well, we get a holding call here against Minnesota. The Bears, I imagine, will decline since it'll force the Vikings to punt.
Defensive holding, number 61, refused. 4th down.
Wes Hamilton, youngest member of the Minnesota offensive line, guilty of the holding penalty. Neil Clabo is the Viking punter, and Steve Schubert is deep for the Chicago Bears. Clabo standing back at his 14-yard line. He's been known to foul 1 or 2 off occasionally. Nice rush by the Bears. They almost got in there. Beautiful kick. Schubert back at the 20. 25, 30. Nice block. 35, 40. Penalty marker down. As Schubert gets it out to the 42-yard line. We had a marker thrown way back at about the 30-yard line.
He may call a clip on that one, boy, but it looked like a good block to me. Muckensturm throws the block, and apparently it was questionable because there was a penalty called.
We'll look at it again, see if we can pick up a possible clip here, because that's, I believe, what it's going to be. Yes, a clip against Chicago. So that will...
Muckensturm was blocking on McNeil, and it looked good from up here. We'll take a look and find out for sure whether it was. Well, it was real close there. We got a quick look at it.
Well, there's another one there. Do you see that? Just before he was hit, there was a second clip.
For the price of one, huh?
I think so. First one may have been a little questionable, but I don't believe the second one was.
On number 21 of the kick return team.
Well, the Bears don't have a 21. That's interesting. 52 yards in the punt by Clabo. 14 minutes, 18 seconds left to play in the first half, and the Vikings lead it 10-0.
Polaroid's One Step is the simplest camera in the world. You don't have to focus or anything.
I thought this was the simplest camera.
This is.
I just snap the shutter, and I've got the picture.
Where?
Well, I have to get it developed.
And I just press this button. A motor hands me the picture. I see it in minutes.
It's pretty. But mine's just as simple up to when the picture comes out.
What kind of logic is that?
Mine?
Doesn't make any sense.
You mean you don't understand it?
Get the One Step.
Your car will always need new parts, but you will never need to buy another battery. Once you own the J.C. Penney battery, it never needs water, ever. And it has more power to start your car than any other car battery. So dependable, it's fully warranted for as long as you own your car. If it ever fails, return it. We'll replace it, free. Only at J.C. Penney Auto Centers or catalog desks. It's the last battery your car will ever need.
The penalty against the Bears moves the ball back to the 11-yard line. So once again, Chicago saddled with poor field position. Avellini trying to get him out of the hole here. Vikings playing some super defense. That is Peyton. Out to the 13-yard line. It'll be second down 8 after a pickup of 2 yards on that play. Then linebacker Jeff Seaman, number 50, making the stop.
The Bears are going at the Vikings' strength. They want to bust that line. The Vikings have only allowed 98 yards per game rushing, and that's what the Bears have been doing mostly, running the ball, trying to establish the run, which is a normal game plan. We'll see how long they stick with it.
Rather to the right side, Scott to the left. On second down 8, Harper gets the call from Avellini, carries to the 15. What you've got going in this game is the best rushing defense in the NFC against the top runner in the NFC, which is another thing that makes it such an attractive matchup. So the Bears have it out to the 15-yard line. That sets up third down and 5 needed for the first down. The Bears' deepest penetration so far has been their own 46-yard line. They haven't been in Minnesota territory yet. Rather again to the right side, Scott to the left. Avellini under pressure, got it away, and that will be good for a first down. Just in time. Matt Blair making the hit on Roland Harper.
Now you can watch Harper, 35, setting up the pass block, and then he goes out, and Avellini, just before he gets crunched, gets the ball off to Harper and gets the first down. Good play by the Bears. And remember that this is only the second game since high school that Bob Avellini has been calling his own play. So he bears the brunt of what goes right and what goes wrong as far as the play call.
That last play was an excellent example of the double team tactics the Bears are using on Alan Page. They had him contained pretty well. But then, of course, you free somebody else. First and 10 from the 21. Quick throw this time, and I believe, let's see if it's ruled as a catch or a trap at the 23-yard line. That looked like a trap. James Scott was the receiver.
They are ruling that it was a trap. But James Scott is upset, number 89. And maybe we can decide the issue with a little picture here. Just a quick, precision, short pass, the hitch, and, well, it's still kind of hard to tell.
A bit tough from that angle, but it looked from up here like it was a trap. Here it is again. I think you can see it pretty good. You should from this angle.
Well, that looks like he caught it.
That looked like he caught it, exactly. Yeah. Peyton breaking into the secondary and out to the 30-yard line. He's within 1.5 yards of a first down. That quick hitter, and Peyton just squirts through.
Let's take a look as he follows. Harper's got the good block on McNeil, and then Peyton just takes it on through and falls forward for those extra few yards. So now they're in a key situation, 3rd and 2. Will they stay on the ground? Odds are they will.
Ball just shy of the 30-yard line. Bears trying to get a drive going here, and again they give it to Harper, and Harper stacked up behind the line of scrimmage. His second effort possibly netted him the line of scrimmage, but that will set up 4th down and 2. And Jeff Seaman, number 50, again in on the stop, as the Vikings defense gets a nice round of applause from this capacity crowd of 48,000 plus. This game has been a sellout since August. We've got an excellent afternoon. Temperature at kickoff time, 54 degrees. A lot of sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. Minnesota weather gets such a bad rap normally that I guess it's only fair that we say something nice when it is nice.
Yes, it was nice, and everybody came with their campers outside.
Beautiful putt by Parsons. Manfred Moore at the 25, 30, and pinned at the 33-yard line. So the Vikings take over at their 33-yard line with 10 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in the first half, and Minnesota leading 10-0.
Take me away, lover. I'm yours. I don't go with married women. What are you doing in our Granada? Granada? This is my Mercedes. Oh, tight. Didn't get into my Cadillac.
Cadillac, that's the Granada.
Alone at last, beloved.
Beloved,
Where's my bride?
you got that Mercedes with another man.
Another man?
The new Ford Granada. One way to tell it from Cadillac or Mercedes is its sticker price. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
Are you still chained to? Gotcha. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from gotcha.
In 7 years of All in the Family, you've never seen an hour-long story like this.
Lady, I'm going to tie you up.
1 hour of comedy and drama, Sunday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
First and 10 for the Vikings at their 33.
Chuck Foreman, the ball carrier, out to the 36-yard line for a pickup of 3 for the Minnesota Vikings as we get back to play. There's a first period update for you on that Brown-Houston game. Browns are coming back.
Yes, they were down 10-0, now 14-10. Still in the first period, it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Our score, the Vikings 10, the Bears nothing. Vikings have a 2nd and 5 upcoming at their 38-yard line. Tarkinen drops it over the middle to Foreman. They'll be very close for a first down at the 44-yard line. Doug Plank, number 46, making the stop on Foreman.
Let's watch Foreman as Tarkinen rolls out. Foreman gets in from the wing over there and comes right across. And there he is, right in all the traffic, but still the lane was right there, and Tarkington spotted him. And Foreman, I think he must have caught, what, 70 passes last year. He is so valuable. That's one place where the Bears have not done with Peyton so much. Peyton has not caught that many passes since he's been with the team, whereas Foreman has become as more of a multiple tight back who is valuable in that way. First down.
So the Vikings pick up the first down at their 44. Ed White has come into the offensive line. He's been a long-time starter, but he held out this year until the week of the opening game and has been trying to work his way back into the lineup. They've been using him about half the game here the last couple of weeks, and they say he's just about ready.
And Wes Hamilton is slightly injured, hurt himself in practice on Friday, so that also gave Ed White a little more of an opportunity to play this week.
Sammy White in motion. Tarkinen to Foreman. Foreman to the 50, to the 45, to the 43, a pickup of 12 yards. Raymond Bryant makes the stop.
Okay, you're going to see a good block by McClanahan, number 33. Watch him at the top of your screen. He pushes Buffon out, and that allows Foreman to cut up the field, and finally Wayman Bryant, number 50, is able to make the tackle. But the Vikings continue to chew up the yardage, and the field must be in pretty good shape. I haven't seen anybody slip yet, have you?
Not at all. First and 10 for the Vikings at the Bear 43. Foreman now 11 carries for 62 yards, and he's caught 2 passes for 14 yards. And, of course, he scored the only touchdown of the ball game. Here's McClanahan. Not much up the middle as the Bears shove him back. Jim Osborne, number 68, leading the defensive charge.
And Don Reeves was in there, number 57, the middle linebacker. The Bears were in that even set that time with the middle linebacker right over the center off about a yard, and they just plugged that one right up.
8 minutes, 35 seconds left to play in the first half. Minnesota leading 10-0, capitalizing on 2 Bear fumbles in the opening period for the scores. Second down, 9. The Vikings are at the Bear 42-yard line. The Bears haven't been in Viking territory yet. Tarkinen decides to go over the middle. Pretty good hit by Doug Buffon. Helped break that one up. The intended receiver was McClanahan, number 33. Tarkinen has had 4 consecutive 200-yard games against the Bears.
And we have received word that O.J. Simpson just passed the 10,000-yard mark in rushing in his career in today's game. Of course, he's with the Bills. The Bills are beating Atlanta 3-0.
I think he needed about 80 yards or so in that game to go over 10,000. That leaves just Jim Brown ahead of him. Jim's got retired with something like 12,000 yards. Third down, 9. Tarkenton deep drop this time. A bullet. Couldn't hold it. Oh, he really drilled that one. Doug Plank was back defending. The intended receiver was Bob Grimm, number 26, who had just come into the game. A little bit too hot to handle.
Yes, it's one of those that should have been caught. Grimm was with the Vikings and then, of course, came to the Bears and was released by the Bears and picked back up with the Vikings. A new lease on life, 11-year veteran. But he's going to have to catch those if he's going to stay around a while.
Steve Schubert is deep, anticipating the punt off the toe of Neil Clabo, who got a 52-yarder away last time. Hangs this one up very nicely. It will go into the end zone on the fly.
Out of the end zone almost on the fly. Gee, he really boomed that one.
So the Bears will bring it out to the 20-yard line. It'll be first down, 10 yards to go with exactly 8 minutes left to play in the first half, and Chicago trailing by a score of 10-0.
This fresh egg is going to help us sell this brand new Freeflex shoe from Freeman. Watch. You can do it with any new Freeman Freeflex. Let's use the same egg.
Hello, everybody. Alaska. Tough on people, tough on oil filters. So we took Motorcraft oil filters to Alaska, testing them in 50 GM, Chrysler, and Ford cars and trucks. After 6 rugged months of Alaskan pipeline country, from winter's freeze to the hot, choking dust of summer, only one oil filter couldn't take the punishment. This is Lowell Thomas reminding you, no matter what you drive, wherever you drive, ask for Motorcraft oil filters from Ford. Tested tough in Alaska. So long.
Let's give you the lineup once again in that triple header on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Some great boxing upcoming. The Spinks brothers. Leon takes on Scott Ledoux in a heavyweight matchup from Las Vegas. Michael Spinks, his younger brother, goes against Gary Summerhays. A battle of light heavyweights. And then Bernardo Macedo takes on Greg Johnson, also in a heavyweight matchup. And that will also be followed by the World's Strongest Men competition, which I think you'll enjoy. Part 4, and the leader right now after 3 tests of strength, 330-pound Bruce Wilhelm, who won a silver medal in weightlifting in Montreal. That's the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday afternoon. First and 10, Bears at their 20. Peyton out to the 23-yard line. Carl Eller, number 81, making the stop.
All the way from the left side of the defensive line. He just went down the line, caught in from behind, and made the tackle.
You look at that front 4. Marshall is 39 years old. And you've got
Eller's 35.
Right. The only guy in his 20s is Sutherland, who is 29 years old. Eller's 35. Page is 32. Second and 7. Big hole for Peyton. Look out. Across the 45 to near midfield, Bobby Bryant runs him out of bounds. Boy, did he accelerate once he hit the line of scrimmage.
Well, it was bound to happen. They've been running. They've only thrown 4 passes, and all the plays that they've run get a good block from Harper. Noah Jackson kicks McNeil out of the play, and then Walter turns it on and is finally knocked out of bounds by Bobby Bryant. But that's it. They keep punching. Eventually, a great back like Peyton is going to break one. So the Bears finally have some good field position at midfield.
Peyton, 8 carries for 59 yards at this point. Ball is at midfield. Bears haven't crossed midfield yet. Peyton, well, they still haven't. Alan Page wrestles Peyton for a loss of 2 at the 48-yard line. Jim Marshall, number 70, also in on that play.
And that showed where pursuit really paid off. Now, Marshall apparently had him all bottled, but Peyton spun out of it, but there was Alan Page to make the tackle. Hadn't it been for Alan Page there, then Peyton may have gotten himself a few yards. There's Bob Avellini calling the plays. New experience for him.
Second and 12. Bears at their 48-yard line. On the delay, Peyton to the 50, 45, And down to the 43-yard line. Absolutely marvelous to watch this young man run the football.
He says he only wants to play for 5 or 6 years in the NFL. I bet you he changes his mind. You can see the draw play. They always have number 35 Harper going out in front of Walter Payton because he's such an effective blocker. I think the best blocker in the NFL is a running back.
That's a 9-yard pickup for Payton. It is now 3rd down and 3 for the Bears at the Viking 43-yard line. 6 minutes left to play first half. Bears haven't threatened yet. They lead, or rather trail 10-0. Again, Payton, this time trying the right side. And held at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Jeff Wright, number 23, moving up from the secondary to make the stop.
And Jeff Wright is a very key man for the Vikings. He comes up from his safety spot to make tackle after tackle. He's very valuable and a sure tackler, just like Carl Kosoka used to be for the Vikings, was a tremendous tackler. And that's what Jeff Wright does for this team, and the Bears are going to punt from the 43.
Parsons standing back at his 43-yard line. The Vikings have 3 safety men down there. They've got 8 men at the line of scrimmage. So they're playing in return all the way. Very high kick by Parsons. And a fair catch signal on the 15. It takes a Minnesota bounce all the way back to the 38-yard line. You believe that?
That is unbelievable. That'll be a 5-yard punt. They only knew what was going to happen. They maybe would have gone for the first down. A 5-yard punt.
That ball landed inside the 20-yard line and then kicked back a good 20 yards. 5 yards on the punt by Parsons. And the Vikings take over at their 38-yard line. Payton's stats now, 11 carries for 66 yards. Sammy White in motion. Tarkenton obviously found his number 1 receiver covered, so he went to the backup man, who in this case was Robert Miller, number 35. Logan's Run upcoming tomorrow night on CBS. Remember to watch for it, the Intergalactic Adventure Series. It's a lot like Star Wars. I think you'll enjoy it. Monday nights at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time, and tomorrow a mighty battle looms for control of the star worlds.
What's intergalactic mean? Galaxy? Is that from Galaxy?
I think that's got something to do with that, John. We don't usually use words that long on this show. 2nd down, 5. Foreman.
Oh, great move.
Foreman, and he's down inside the Bear 40-yard line. Well, you want to know what makes a great runner. You watch the move he makes here as he goes to his left, kind of stops on a dime and cuts back to his right. Unbelievable.
He had 3 Chicago Bears going the wrong way. Now watch Foreman's move as he cuts back to the right. Here he comes to the left. They think they've got him, and boom, he just cuts up. That's quickness. And finally, Wayman Bryant drags him down from behind. But Foreman is by far having his most outstanding game, at least from running from scrimmage. Excellent.
Pickup of 18 yards on a first down for the Vikings at the Bear 39. Robert Miller, number 35, who is McClanahan's understudy, and he moves into the 33. That run by Foreman was his longest of the year, that 18-yarder, and he has already picked up 81 yards rushing in the first half on just 12 carries. So he's averaging right about, 7 yards a carry. Pickup of 7 yards by Miller at his 2nd down, 3. Vikings are stacking up a lot of yardage.
They certainly would like to win this game because they could go up by 2 in their division.
Miller, second effort, may have got it the first down at the 28-yard line. That may be close enough for measurement.
The Vikings have a pretty tough schedule. Supposing the Bears won this, they would be tied, and then the Vikings would have to go on and play the Rams, Atlanta, St. Louis, and Cincinnati in that order, plus Oakland later on down the season. The Bears have the much better of it as far as schedule for the rest of the season and would like to end up in a tie after today's game, but the Vikings can kind of put them away a little bit. They would be 4-1. The Bears would be 2-3 if the Vikings go on to win this game.
Mike's got the first down at the Bear 28. Wally Chambers has come back into the ballgame for Chicago, replacing Osborne. Foreman trying the right side behind Miller's block. Run out of bounds at the 25. Pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down, 7. Gary Fensick, number 45, running him out of bounds. Foreman having his best afternoon of the year so far. As we said, he had just 219 yards rushing in 4 games coming into this game for an average of 2.6 per carry. And he is close to a 100-yard rushing game here in the first half. He's just about at 85 yards. Second down, 7. Vikings at the Bear 25. Bears have been in Viking territory just once in the first half, and that wasn't a deep penetration at all. Here's Foreman picking his way up the middle. Chambers lassoing him at the 22-yard line. Pickup of 3 more in the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Take a look at Wally Chambers here.
Now he'll play off the block by Charles Goodrum.
Leading Chicago 10-0. We'll be back in Minnesota in 1 minute.